challenge.
Hello, and welcome to Watercolour Challenge. Each day we challenge 3 amateur artists to paint a scene of our choice. They're painting against the clock and against each other, because each day we'll choose one painting to go through to our regional final on Friday, and they'll have the chance to compete in our grand final at the end of the series. We're going to be travelling through some of the most interesting parts of Great Britain and learning about watercolour painting along the way. All this week, we're travelling up the coastline of northeast England, from the Humber estuary to Scarborough, to explore the British love of the sea in all its moods. We begin our journey in the famous fishing port of Grimsby. For centuries, Grimsby's trawlermen have daily risked their lives on the perilous waters of the North Sea to bring fish back to the markets of Britain. Today, the port has expanded in other areas, and now handles over 2 million tonnes of cargo each year. And we've come to the National Fishing Heritage Centre in Grimsby. Our artists have to paint a picture of this scene within 4 hours. So let's meet the trio, all from the Boston Art Group, who are taking up our challenge. Mark Rose used to be a naval mechanic on the Royal Yacht Britannia. Paul Howard is a telecommunications technician and is chairman of the Boston Art Group. Eric Unsworth worked as an exhibition designer until he took early retirement. Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning,
Anna. Everybody in the groove?
Yeah, most definitely.
Well, I think you know the rules. You have 4 hours to paint your watercolour, starting now. Good luck.
I'd describe my style of painting as rather haphazard, in as much as I've never really studied watercolour painting, and I've never studied the various techniques that... In fact, people talk to me about various techniques, and I don't have the faintest idea what they're talking about.
What I like about watercolour painting is nice soft effects you can get. What I want to do is try and show this real old building, because to me it's the only building left in this area of the old Grimsby. The trawlers have gone, virtually, and there's only the old building left, and that's what I'm trying to show in this painting. What I've got is this sponge. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make the clouds with the sponge.
What I particularly like about watercolour painting is, apart from the effects you can get with the paint, is it gets me out of the house. And being a house husband, it helps me to relax. This really inspires me, the boats that draw back to our heritage. I'm trying to be as loose as possible, but also to get some inspiration from the day itself. I'm sure it's going to rain soon. So the sky's more difficult than I thought it was going to be.
Hello, Eric.
Hello.
Oh, what a gentlemanly.
I was a gentleman. I was a
Sure
gentleman.
you are.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
you've really gone for that building in the background. The background, is that
Yeah.
unusual for your style to start with
No,
the
I
background?
don't think so. I don't think it's unusual. No, I don't. It's just that there's so much in this. There's the boat in the foreground. There's all these buildings around the back. It's not as if you're out in the country somewhere where it's just fields and sky and things like that. There's quite a lot to put in here, and you've got to get the right sort of. I feel with any sort of picture is getting the right balance. So I've put this in first of all to give myself a background so I can balance the boat then against that.
Smashing.
I shall try stronger colours on here and more contrast, more shadows, and hopefully help to bring the thing out.
That's great. How's this going then, Paul?
Now what I'm doing here is I'm keep re-wetting the sky and letting one colour flood into another. Like I've got the purples and the yellows.
Yeah.
So we keep this softness in the sky. And,
beautiful sky.
And of course, if I was to hard edge the building, it would spoil it.
Right.
So
So that's why you've gone for washes rather
right.
than
So
draftsmanship, really.
The main
drawing.
object is to keep the whole thing soft, keep the building, you can see it, but it's, if you notice, they're all the soft edges. So, because if I was to make it too hard, the building would come forward, and that's what we don't want to do. We want the building to blend in with the soft sky. So that's basically what I'm trying to achieve.
So the boat's really going to be your
Yes,
prime
and then
thing.
we'll bring the boat forward by making these colours stronger at the front.
Terrific.
And then, of course, we'll have the water reflections down there.
Lovely.
Hopefully, it'll work out.
I'm sure it will. Oh, Mark, you've gone a completely different way of doing it. You've drawn practically the whole thing before you've put
Well, I needed
paint to paper.
I needed a little bit of detail so I could relate things to each other, like the boat to the building and the building to the railings, and so I get it all in perspective because it's quite a difficult subject.
Yes, yeah. Will you be able to get rid of all the pencil marks quite easily? I mean, will you be able to
I've
paint
put a little
over
bit of masking fluid on there.
Oh, yeah, of course you have,
Around there, and when I rub the masking fluid off, some of the pencil marks will
Will go come with it.
come with it, yes.
That's a very good technique, isn't it? Well, back with me, I'm glad to say, is our artist in residence, Wendy Corey, who's going to cast her professional eye over everybody. Well, you love painting boats. How are they getting on? What problems have they got?
Well, they're getting on fine, but some of them have not chosen the boat as the main subject. I would have done, but it's only personal. If they are doing the boat, I would like to see it able to float.
Right.
You know, I don't want to go out in that boat and it sink, looking at their pictures. So far, they're managing pretty well. I think it's interesting because there's a lot of curves in the boat, and I'm glad some of them are using part of the boat to enhance their picture. And, you know, by contrast, there's a lot of straight lines
Yeah.
in the background with those gorgeous old buildings. So they've got a combination of soft things and very rigid things. And I want to be able to see that by the end of the day.
Do you think they're doing all right at the moment?
I think they're doing marvellously.
So do I.
Yeah, the skies are all completely different, and their painting techniques are different. I mean, if we'd like look at Eric for instance, he's actually tackling it in quite a definite way, and his boat is quite prominent so far, and I hope that remains so. Really, make it different from the other two. Now, Paul is inventing his weather, and if that works, it's going to be good. Because he's put a lot more colour in the sky, and he's thinking that the sun is going to be out. And, well, it's a dodgy thing to try, unless you're used to it. No? And, well, the drawing of Mark's is perfection.
Isn't it?
And I hope he's not going to get rid of it.